Conservative New Media viewers, Jeremy Lin fans around the world, what's up? It's me, PFE Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert, and we're here to discuss the Brooklyn Nets 107-88 victory over the Miami Heat last night in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn improves to 2-0 on the preseason. Miami drops to 1-1 on the preseason. Now, I haven't made a video in months, although John and I did do that live stream video together about the upcoming Nets season, and we did that after the roster was pretty much set, although at that point in time, the Nets had not yet added Tyler Zeller, I don't think, and I don't even remember exactly when we made that video. What was it, maybe a month ago or something? So I have not been on Twitter in probably about 6 months. There are still people I have to email back, so if you're waiting for that, I apologize. Again, I always seem to be in flux. There's always something going on for me. And I will say this, and I said it at the end of last season, I do not yet know what my status is going to be for this entire upcoming regular season. I'm hoping to be able to do the games, but if I do make videos about the games during the regular season, there's a chance that, like this video, I will have to do them the next day rather than the night of, which is what we've done for years now. But that might have to change during this upcoming regular season and going forward. I don't know yet. We'll see. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do videos at all. So we'll just do it when we can do it. Just come and look on the channel, and if you're a subscriber, hopefully you'll get to email when the videos are done, and then you'll know when they're up. And when I have the chance to go on Twitter, I'll do that as well and put them up there and let people know that they're up. So what I want to do in this video is, I'm not going to go over every single thing that happened in the game, but what I want to do is talk about what I saw in the first game and what I see in this game and what I see for the team overall. Just kind of where things are at, and also talk about how things are being presented in terms of kind of what has been the general feeling and the tone of the coverage about the team up to this point in time. And you know what? I'll just start right there. If you read the site Nets Daily, which I really like a lot, actually, I think they do a terrific job. And I go on there quite a bit, although I do not have an account on the site. Like, I don't post on the site. I wanted to make an account, but I just having trouble making an account just because of I don't know. I had something with a problem with an email thing or whatever. Anyway, that doesn't matter. If you read Nets Daily, the entire presentation of the team that they seem to be taking, like the editorial position of the site, is, oh my gosh, it's D'Angelo Russell's team and he's going to be the leader and everything is about him, and so on and so forth. Now, let me just say this. I like D'Angelo a lot. I have praised him before in videos that we've made. I think he's tremendously talented. I'm really glad that the team got him. I'm very hopeful for his future, and he probably is, along with Caris LeVert, one of the two most talented players on the roster, along with LeVert. Those two might have the most physical talent and combined with skill level and upside of anybody on the team. However, today, right now, October 6, 2017, he's not the best player on the team, or he's not the most refined player on the team. And I think you saw that. You certainly saw it in the game last night, but I also think you saw some of that in the first game. And I really believe that today, Jeremy is probably the best and most complete player on the team. And because D'Angelo still has to grow his game, Caris LeVert still has to grow his game. For example, Caris isn't a particularly good three-point shooter, so he needs to improve on that. He needs to work to become somebody who can run an offense at the NBA level. D'Angelo still needs, his game needs to mature. He shoots a lot. He doesn't have the best shot selection. Sometimes he's a little bit too eager to settle for just kind of a drift on the perimeter and shoot versus get to the basket and at least try to get a little bit closer of a shot situation or selection, and so forth, which is what you would expect. Karis LeVert and D'Angelo Russell were what? Like, I think D'Angelo's like 21 years old, and Karis is maybe 20, 21. You don't expect them to have super refined and mature games at this age. So that's kind of, I think it's a very, this isn't surprising. It's kind of what you would expect. Whereas Jeremy is what? Jeremy's, I think he just turned 29. He's been in the league for a while. He's seen a number of different things. He's played several different roles. He also was in this offense for the full year last year, although Karis LeVert was as well. But Karis was hurt for a while during the year, even though, yes, Jeremy himself got hurt last year. But Jeremy's worked with Kenny Atkinson before, so there's more rapport there and so forth. So I think what we saw last night, and again, you can't go off of one game. I mean, it is only one game. But I think that as we go along in the season, it will become clearer that it's probably the case that D'Angelo is not ready to be the leader of the entire team, and therefore the team is not D'Angelo Russell's team this season. Maybe it is next year. Maybe it is 2 years from now. Similarly for Karis LeVert. And so that being the case, then it's probably going to fall more towards Jeremy and other veterans like DeMary Carroll or some other vets and so forth. And that's what I think we're starting to see. And that's what I think we saw last night. And my guess is we will see more of that going forward. And look, I would encourage people, this isn't a contest. You don't want to go and, oh my gosh, and you don't want to put down D'Angelo Russell just to lift up Jeremy and everything else. It's not about that. Like I said, I like D'Angelo. I mean, this isn't like Jeremy and James Harden. This isn't that type of thing. Or there's acrimony, or there's all this stuff and all the tension and all this. I don't think it's going to be like that at all. I think Jeremy and D'Angelo get along well. I think they'll play well together. Similarly with Karis LeVert, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Now, I know that there are Nets fans who they want Jeremy traded so that Karis LeVert can start, and they want D'Angelo to be given the keys to the kingdom today, and Jeremy take a back seat, and Jeremy become the sixth man, and so forth. That's fine. I don't think that's what Coach Atkinson and the team is thinking. So just remember, no matter what the fans think, the organization has their own plan, and we'll see what it is. Now, to be fair, I think this is Jeremy's final season under contract before he can exercise his option. And I think that the contract option to be able to leave the team if he wants. So if the organization feels like Jeremy is going to activate that option. I can't remember the contract deals right now. I'm sorry, I'm out of practice right now. I haven't looked at that in a while. Then maybe they feel like they need to move him. Maybe they feel like they want to move him rather than be stuck with nothing or be put into a situation they don't want to be in. But in terms of Jeremy as a player for the team, I think they have a very positive view of him. And I think he's going to get very much a fair shake with the team this year, and I think that will become clearer as we go along. And as Jeremy performs, it will become clearer and clearer that that's in the best interest of the Nets to do that and to kind of give Jeremy a very prominent role and keep him as a starter and so forth. Now, the first thing I should say in addition, so like I said, that's the whole thing. There's been the whole setup, and it's the ascension of D'Angelo Russell, and everything's D'Angelo Russell this and D'Angelo Russell that. I don't think that's how it's going to work out this year. So that's number one. Number two, this whole thing between Kenyon Martin, excuse me. Gosh, I am really out of practice. Kenyon Martin and J-Lin and the hair and all this stuff. I think it's silly. I understand it. I don't want to make light of it. I get it. I know there's a lot of different issues and concerns and legitimate feelings and stuff involved with it. I thought Jeremy handled it really, really well in terms of his response to Kenyon Martin. I think Kenyon Martin has kind of reset his comments or kind of made additional comments and kind of maybe came away a little bit from what he first said. Again, I don't want to get into it too much, but look, Jeremy's a sensitive person. He's not trying to offend anybody. I think anybody who knows anything about him knows that. I think that's why he wrote the article about his hair in the Players Tribune. Jeremy wants to respect people. He wants to be attuned to how people feel, and I'm glad that the situation seems to be resolving itself, and that Jeremy's handled himself well with it. And again, let me just say, when I say that I think the thing is silly, again, I'm not trying to put down anybody or anybody's concerns. I'm just more saying, like, look, Jeremy's not trying to offend anybody. So it's silly to kind of make a big deal like, oh my gosh, he's doing this, and why isn't he aware of issues and whatever? He is aware. That's why he wrote about it. And Jeremy's not the type of person to do something and not take into consideration the different angles or the different aspects of it. So that's why I characterize it as silly, because if you know Jeremy, you know he's not going to do that. That's just, he's going to make himself, he's going to try to be as appropriate and as sensitive as he can be in the circumstance, and that's what he seems to have done here. Although I did not read the Players Tribune article, and I have not followed every aspect of this hair debate, but I know how Jeremy is in general, and I would imagine he's handling himself very well with regard to this, and as far as I can tell, that's exactly what has happened. Okay? Now, I like the way that Jared Allen looks so far. It seems like the team is already playing him as the backup center behind Timofey Mozgov, which is to say Tyler Zeller is being kind of slotted into the third string zone, and Jared Allen is already advancing into the second string. And look, if he keeps improving, maybe he moves up even further. Although, look, Mozgov is a huge guy. You saw him hit a 3 last night on an assist from Jeremy. He has worked on that. He's a good defender. We'll see. But even if Jared Allen is only, quote-unquote, ready to play backup, that would be huge. I mean, Jared Allen's 19 years old. If he can come in and be able to give you meaningful minutes in a backup role in his first year, that would be tremendous. And the indications from the Nets seem to be like, yeah, that might happen. And he certainly looks like he can hold his own, particularly on defense. He's got extremely long arms, and he's very athletic, and it's looking very promising right now for him. So I'm very, very happy about that. Another person who looks tremendous early on is Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. Rondé's jump shot is looking very good. You can see that he's put in a tremendous amount of work, and that was probably his kind of biggest weakness. He seemed to have a hitch, kind of a mechanical flaw in his shot, and he just didn't have a consistent jumper. And right now, it's looking pretty consistent. If he can actually do that and solidify his ability to shoot, that's going to improve him tremendously as a player, and obviously that would help the Nets quite a bit as a team overall. The I already mentioned about D'Angelo and the shot selection and so forth. One of the things that's great about this team is because of the depth, even when D'Angelo doesn't play well in game number 2 or Jeremy doesn't play well in game number 1, they can still win. And we aren't even talking about how Alan Crabb and Karis LeVert are both out. And those are probably, Crabb's likely a starter, and Karis is probably the 6th man. And they haven't played in either one of these games. And the team still looks super deep. They're running, they're playing 11 men. I think they played 11 last night, and basically when the game still was in up for grabs. And things look tremendous. Quincy Acey's playing well. Joe Harris is playing well. This team is coming together even faster than I thought it would. I thought they would be good. I thought that the collection of talent would be good, and it would work much better than where we were at the start of last year. But it even looks better than what I thought it was going to be. So everything's kind of on the up and up here. We just hope that the team stays healthy. We hope that Karis LeVert and Alan Crabb are able to overcome their, I believe they both have ankle issues, and able to get and stay healthy. I think Crabb has had issues with one of his feet before, so hopefully he's able to kind of stabilize that. And of course, Karis had feet injuries issues last year, and hopefully they're both able to kind of overcome those things. But right now things are looking pretty darn good and pretty darn hopeful, and I'm just excited. As I said, this is even better than what I thought it was going to be. Another thing that stood out to me in the game last night was that the Nets had 62 rebounds. That's unbelievable. If I remember properly, they had issues with rebounding last year. Well, that seems gone. Now, I don't remember how many rebounds they had in the first preseason game. So this could be an aberration, but 62 rebounds is pretty astounding. And Carroll, Hollis Jefferson, and Mozgov each had 8, as did Trevor Booker off the bench. So, as I said, this is a team where everybody can play. Almost everybody that makes this roster. And I think that everybody who played yesterday, let me just count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay, 13, yeah. Everybody who makes this roster. And if you want to know who's going to make the roster, it's everybody who played yesterday, plus Alan Crabb and Karis LeVert. That's probably your 15 men right there. And the people who played the fewest minutes last night were Tyler Zeller and Isaiah Whitehead. Every guy that's going to be on this 15-man roster is going to be able to actually play and contribute for you. And probably the least able to contribute, or the quote-unquote lowest rated player, will be Tyler Zeller. And he's still okay in limited minutes. He's all right. I mean, he's done okay in his NBA career. He's not great, but he's all right. And if Isaiah Whitehead and Tyler Zeller are your 14th and 15th men, you're in pretty good shape. And what it reminds me of when I look at this roster, it reminds me of the Cleveland Cavaliers roster, because I've been spending time looking at them as well. And people know I focus on a couple different teams each year, and I'm focusing on the Cavs this year. That's what their roster looks like. Their entire roster can play. The difference is the Cavaliers have 2 rookies, and I think the Nets only have 1, and Jared Allen. So, like, the Cavs actually relying more on rookies and the Nets less. So this is a very good sign. I think things are clicking. Team chemistry looks good, even though it should only get better. We still have to work out Jeremy and D'Angelo being able to play with one another and play off of each other. You definitely can see with both of them, each of them they want to be the lead guy. Each one of them is best with the ball in their hands. So that is something that's going to have to be worked out. But when you look at these 2 games, you have to be extremely optimistic about what Brooklyn's chances are. Again, I came in feeling like, okay, this team is at minimum going to, if they're healthy, they will win at least 30 games, and there's probably a good chance they're going to compete for the playoffs. And now I'm feeling even more optimistic about what can happen for them. Spencer Dinwiddie played a great game yesterday. 6 assists, only 2 turnovers. I am so happy that they got him. And he has developed for them, and he has been such a good find for them. And he is a tremendous backup point guard. I mean, he really can play. He's got good size. He doesn't try to do too much. He's just an ideal backup point guard. I mean, I think he can be one of the best backup point guards in the league. You combine that with Karis LeVert, then you will have 2 very, very good and big second string ball handlers and playmakers. So everything that we hoped was going to develop for this team is developing. It's starting to happen, and we're actually seeing it take place, and it looks really promising. All I hope is that the team stays healthy, and then that they can just keep the health good. And I think everything else will take care of itself. So, look, that's about it. Sure, Nets, I'm looking, yes, they had a bunch of turnovers. They had only 21 assists, and they had 25 turnovers. Okay, there were a lot of bad turnovers in the game, but it's still preseason, and the Nets play fast. So you're going to have more turnovers when you play at the pace like the Nets play at. That's just, you're going to get more of that. I mean, Jeremy himself had 5 turnovers, which led the Nets. That was the only part of his game that you could really complain about. And 2 of those turnovers were traveling turnovers, where Jeremy took steps after he received the pass and he moved his feet before he started dribbling. That'll get worked out. I think Jeremy in the first preseason game was kind of like his conditioning wasn't fully there. Like, he just wasn't completely into it. And Jeremy's at a point in his career now, he's a veteran, a solid veteran, where preseason is about don't get hurt. Yes, you're working on chemistry. Yes, you want to come into camp in shape, and I'm sure Jeremy's in shape, but it's kind of like, it's more about what you don't want to happen, which is don't get injured and don't strain yourself too much, rather than, okay, you've got to look great in preseason. I mean, Jeremy's kind of beyond the point where he needs to dazzle in preseason. But he looked very good last night. He was extremely efficient. His shot looked good. He was making some nice plays and some nice passes. He had a couple of passes where he has to be careful when he gets down in the lane and he's kicking the ball out. Yes, you have to be a little bit careful, but overall, I thought he played well. He looked good. He had a plus 15 for the night, and great. I'm very excited. Just really eager to see where things end up. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm just looking over the other players. DeMary Carroll's been looking good. He's fitting in well. I mean, he has a nice all-around game. I think he will be one of the leaders of the team. He's sliding in and doing his job nicely so far. And it's just like I said, if you remember what the team looked like at the start of last year, it was much older. It was much less athletic. It was less deep. This team is so much better than that. This team can be competitive right away. They should be able to compete, honestly, pretty much every single night and win. And that's just night and day from where they were at last year. Particularly, obviously, once Jeremy got hurt, then it was just a free fall. But as we've seen, even if one of their top guys isn't playing well or isn't playing at all, this team can still win. They can still succeed, and guys feel comfortable and they feel empowered. Like I said, Quincy Ace, he's like averaging about 10 points a game in these first 2 games. He looks great. Joe Harris, he looks great. Things are working, and it's a very optimistic scenario right now, and hopefully we can continue that as we move forward. That's about it. Look, I hope everybody's had a great summer. we're certainly eager and happy for the NBA to be back. When's the next game? I think it's tomorrow or Saturday or Sunday. Maybe it's Sunday. Yeah, I think it's Sunday is when the Nets are playing again. But we're looking forward to it. As I said, we'll be here when we can be here. I'm not making any guarantees right now, but we definitely wanted to weigh in based upon what we saw in these last two games, also after the addition of Tyler Zeller. And I couldn't be more optimistic. I feel really good, and I'm very encouraged and very eager to see what is going to be coming up next. That is it for now. Hope you're having a great night or great day wherever you are around the world. Take care, and we will talk to you again soon. Hopefully, if we have the chance, we will talk to you again after the upcoming preseason game number 3, which I believe will take place today.